Alright, you guys, it's Brit. Tonight we're here to talk about a mom named Bella who is all over TikTok right now for cutting off her daughter's hair and posting it to social media to prove a point. I had quite a few thoughts, but I do need to place a trigger warning in the beginning of this because we are going to be talking about the mistreatment of minors. Please set this one out and check out a different video if you're interested. But if you are in a place where you would like to hear my thoughts and discuss this, please keep watching. All right, you guys, so as you know, I spend a fair amount of time over on TikTok. I do not post any public videos over there, but I do take a look at videos and use it as kind of a second social media platform. Sometimes I'm just in the mood to watch shorter form content and not always in the mood to watch a long YouTube video, and TikTok can be very interesting, and I come across a lot on the platform that I discuss here on my YouTube channel because I know some of my subscribers have said either they don't have TikTok, they don't like TikTok, they're not interested in TikTok, or they're just not into it, which is completely fine. Any of the above, whatever your reason, I'm good with it. It's all good. But I bring a lot of the things that I come across over there here to my YouTube channel because I know that a lot of it y'all are probably not coming across, and I always like to give my unsolicited opinions. As we know, this is my channel where it's full of my unsolicited opinions. But either way, this video is getting a ton of attention over on TikTok right now for a good reason. People are they kind of range in between very upset and there are literally a select few that are applauding this behavior, and I don't think that that's what I will be doing at all in this video. But of course, with anything on social media, you can literally put anything out, and even if it is the worst thing ever, you're gonna have a few people that are like, oh, well, did you think about it this way? Did you think about it that way? Like, some stuff is just, you can't justify it, guys. Like, I don't know what to say. I have seen an influx of people sharing punishing their children on social media, and whether it's verbal, emotional, financial, physical, it could be any of the above, and parents are comfortable enough putting this on social media to either get a reaction, get an applause, get likes and clicks. Like, you never know what someone's true intent is, even if they say that it's to prove a point. Let's be honest, a lot of people just really like getting attention. I don't think that this woman, Bella, thought that it would go the direction that it did. The first thing I want to do is roll the clip of the actual event as she uploaded it. Of course, I will be blurring her child's face because the girl is a minor, and that way you'll have a baseline as to what we talk about next. So I'll roll that clip. Trigger warning, it is difficult to watch, but here it is.
No physical discipline. Mom, don't mom me. No. You had your warning. You had your chance. I told you to listen. I told you stop disobeying my rules. I told you being cute ain't shit if you have no education. I told you stop disobeying me. I told you to listen and do as you're supposed to. I told you to do good in school. I told you to do your daily routine, and you yet to even do any of it. And you thought you were disobeying me today and I was not coming to cut this hair off. You're sadly mistaken because you thought being pretty was so much better than being educated or listening to your mom, right? Yes, this is what happens when you don't listen to your mom.
That's it. So as you can see, I'm sure y'all can understand why people are stitching this on TikTok and responding to it and making videos all about it. It has definitely become a very widespread conversation. And before we dive further into this woman, Bella, and what she did with her daughter, I want to talk for just a quick second about people showing punishments on social media. I talk all the time about the impact that social media has on kids. And I grew up in the era of, I was pretty much an adult by the time MySpace was a really popular social media app. So I had a MySpace, but I think I was 18 when I opened my MySpace, and that was after the app was, or the website was already kind of flourishing and really popular. When it comes to parents deciding to put their kids on social media before they're adults, it can obviously become very invasive and also super embarrassing for the child, because typically parents are sharing things that are not positive. And whether it's something like some kind of medical issue, like I talk about all the time, some sort of mental health hurdle that the child might be going through, sharing that their child is being bullied and wanting that to become part of their content. I get it that parents sometimes want a place to vent, but there are ways to vent and also still protect the kids, and that's the side that I've always been on. You can vent your frustrations. Like, nobody's saying don't share your life with the internet. You're an adult. But when you're sharing your child's life, there needs to be some kind of roadblocks put in place so that it's not going to immediately embarrass that child when they go back to school, because once something goes viral, kids are going to see it. They're going to know exactly who's in the video. They're going to know what class the person's in. They're going to know exactly, where to find the person at lunch. It can really snowball into something very dark and very dangerous for these kids once it's put out online. And even if the video is deleted, as I talk about all the time, once it's out there forever, let's be honest. I really, my heart hurts for these kids that are growing up online. It really does, because if y'all haven't seen my high school experience video, you can check that out whenever you have some time. But I didn't have the best experience in high school. And I constantly take situations like this one that I'm about to talk about, and I associate that to how would that have changed my path in high school. It was already bad, and I wasn't dealing with any social media back then. So I could only imagine if my parent or caregiver or even a friend or family member put an embarrassing clip of me out onto the internet, that would have quadrupled my negative experience. I would have a soft spot for these kids anyway, because I think it's unfair and it's cruel. But I think that I associate with it in a little bit of a different way, because I wasn't the girl that was thriving and popular and everybody loved me in high school. I was quite the opposite. So I associate with this in a different way. I don't want to blabber too much in this video, but I'm really upset about this. I'm upset that not only the mother did this and chose to upload it to TikTok, but as people are calling her out and saying, this is wrong and this is why, she is doubling and tripling down, and she's gaslighting the hell out of people any opportunity she gets. She has made many response videos to tell everyone why she's right and they're wrong. And even if the people are coming from the seat of a professional who works with children that have been mistreated, their credentials don't mean anything to her, because this is a woman who will not be wrong, point blank, period. Now, I came across this TikTok page, Jess the Prequel 2, and obviously her name is Jess, and she actually profiles people. So I listened to her 5-part series on this woman, Bella, and we're going to react to it together. Of course, it's not a real reaction because I have listened to it once, but she actually has a lot of really good insight, and she also has a lot of the clips from the mom to kind of prove her points along the way. So if you're interested, go give her a follow. If you're on TikTok, I'll link her profile in my description box. But there are 5 parts. Bear with me. We're going to get through this together. So let's just start with part 1.
Scroll down and watch the rest of my videos.
So I did exactly that. You all wanted me to profile the woman who cut her daughter's hair off. Listen, this is not going to be easy. This is the hardest one I've ever done. It was heartbreaking. This is going to be multi-parts, but I'm posting all parts at the same time so you can watch them immediately. Very quickly, for those of you who don't know who I am, I'm Jess, and I profile audiences online as part of my job. I am not a criminal profiler, and my profiling is for large audiences. It doesn't always translate to one individual. Let's get into it. Before I get into the profiling, there are 3 things to know about this woman right off the bat. The first one, keeping up appearances is very important to her, both with looks, with the labels on clothing. It's also very important that people hold her in high regard and that she is admired and looked up to for her actions, her beliefs, the way she parents. So here are some examples of that.
All these shoes that you see that I have, any name brand you see me wearing, my kid probably has the exact same short. It really annoys me when people tell me.
I think it's really interesting when people focus so much, especially in this age of social media that we're in. It's such a heavy focus on the name brand that you're wearing and making sure that your kids are in designer clothing as well. This is obviously part of flex culture, and even if you're not a millionaire, you can still participate in flex culture by the things that you are constantly pushing out to your audience. Whether your audience is 500 people or 5 million, if you're constantly talking about, oh, well, look at all of the things that I have and they're all super expensive luxury brands, look at this, look at that, that is a form of flex culture. And the people that are taking in this content, the ones that are, you know, maybe a little bit younger or not able to realize that it's flex culture, they will start to compare themselves to you and what you're doing, and in turn make themselves feel bad about, you know, what they're buying or what their kid has. And it just creates so much toxicity. There are so many different layers of, when someone calls social media toxic, there are hundreds of layers that fall under this like toxic umbrella. And I constantly think about flex culture. I constantly think about this, you know, Gucci this, Louis Vuitton that. It's just, for me, it's very artificial. It comes off as very shallow, zero value, zero regard. At the end of the day, half of the people that are head to toe in designer stuff, their character is so flawed. They have to buy this stuff to make themselves feel more valuable. I think a lot of the people on social media could do a lot of internal searching as to who am I and why is it that I have to put out this persona to my audience.
That I'm too pretty to be single.
All little bitches gon' learn. Same bitch sparkin', same bitch get burned. Stop sneak dissing me for you end up on the urn. Bringing flowers to your feet. I ain't talking about ferns. Yeah.
Second thing to know is she views her daughter as an extension of herself. And by that, I mean she doesn't even view her daughter as a separate autonomous person with her own feelings and needs. Her child is a possession that exists to serve her mom's needs. She holds her daughter to standards that are impossible for her daughter to ever meet, and those standards are constantly changing. There's no consistency.
When you see her, you see me. When you see me, you see her.
This is my baby. This is me. This is me right here. I see some weird comments like, oh, she's jealous of her kid. How the hell can you be jealous of someone who's your twin? She's literally identical to me. Who's literally my identical.
There can be, and I don't want to come at this from like a professional stance because y'all know I'm just an idiot online with a lot of opinions. But when it comes to this idea of, oh, well, parent can't be jealous of their child, it's my twin, it's my mini-me. There can certainly be jealousy there. And I've seen a lot of, especially mothers and daughters, I have seen jealousy firsthand. I I don't want to talk about my story tonight. That might be something that I share when I'm more comfortable. But there can absolutely be jealousy between a parent and a child. Just because that child is your flesh and blood has nothing to do with the fact that you might start to see them as, oh, this this kid is doing and able to do stuff and looks a certain way, like that's how, I miss my youth. I wish I did that when I was young. And when you're talking about she shows here in a minute, like these mommy and me, like matching outfits. This woman is trying very hard to make sure that people know, this is my daughter. We dress alike. We have the same taste in clothing. She's my mini me. She is my clone. All of these kind of keywords that a lot of these parents use. Just because they're your kid doesn't exclude jealousy. In fact, I've seen more mothers be jealous of their daughters than I've seen friends be, truly jealous of one another.
And finally, you need to know the very specific value that she has instilled on her daughter about what hair is. And
I think this is a woman, based on what I have seen so far, she seems like one of those women who really misses her youth and is constantly chasing that youth factor. Like, she wants to look young. She wants people to think that she's younger than she actually is. This is not someone who embraces her age. And that's my opinion.
What hair means before she very publicly cut all of her daughter's hair off.
Hair is very well alive. We understand hair to be an extension of your nervous system. Your hair is sending and receiving electrical impulses to and from the brain.
So she's making her daughter listen to this duet on TikTok, and this guy is basically really hammering home how important hair is, and hair is an extension of your mind, your body, your soul, the whole 9 yards. And when you think of her forcing this reaction to happen on social media to then embarrass her using her own hair, it really makes me angry. Because you made her think that her hair was this almighty, extension of her soul. And then you cut it off because that's what you wanted to do. And you decided to post it online for everybody to gather round and watch me embarrass my daughter. That's sick.
Impulses to and from the brain. Your hair is literally absorbing and communicating with your environment. What they don't tell you is that your hair is literally amplifying your electromagnetic field. Your hair literally contains melanin, which makes it conducive to light. Now, you shouldn't be cutting or dyeing your hair. Dyeing your hair is literally killing your hair because you're stripping the melanin out of it.
So now that you have that baseline, let's get into part 2, which is already posted.
It's really weird too, just to go back to the whole like twin thing. I've always thought it was kind of weird when a parent calls their child their twin, because obviously your twin is your sibling. So like, do you want to look the same age as your daughter? Is that why you dress like her? Is that why you do this similar style hair? And like, why would you want your child to look like your sibling, or for the public to think that y'all are twins instead of mother and daughter? Very weird.
We learned in the last video, the mother Bella really values being seen and admired and looked up to. So she's trying very hard on her page to position herself as a spiritual advisor who can offer.
And the other thing I think is really funny, when these influencers want to come on and double down and say how correct they are and they're real and they're just raw and they're showing what's really going on, like this is the real truth, and you come on with this wild filter on every single time you're doing a video. It's filtered out, you have a ton of makeup on, and hey, I am here for makeup all day long, but you want to tell people how real you are, but the videos where you're doubling and tripling down, you have a filter on. Just kind of funny, a little side note.
For guidance to people.
Say thank you to everybody that has been tagging me in videos, messaging me, and really just inquiring about spirituality, religion, and help. I'm always here to answer your question.
She posted the video of her cutting her daughter's hair off. She fully expected it to go viral for very different reasons. She thought she was going to be praised and hailed as a mother who was teaching her daughter some tough love and actually disciplining her child. And what you'll notice in a lot of it, in both the video that she posted and the aftermath, is she mainly focused on how much it hurt her emotionally to cut off her daughter's hair.
The other thing is that the video where she posted that she was just doing the real raw thing, and she was so right that she was responding to people calling her out and gaslighting the hell out of people, she ended up taking the original video down. Now, I don't know about y'all, but if I truly know that I am 100% right in what I am doing, I'm not going to delete the video. I might address some comments, let's talk about concerns so that we can extend the conversation. But if I am so confident that I did the right thing, that video is not going to come down. First, she cut the comments off, then she took the whole video down. That tells me that you were in fact wrong, and you were not expecting to be called out in the massive amount that manner that she was.
Even though it broke my heart to cut off my daughter's beautiful hair, today I had to do something that broke my heart, and I had to know that took me a lot to do. And clearly you can tell in the video, it took a lot for me to do. Yes, I did what I did out of so much love for my kid, and it broke my heart to even do it.
This profile of mother, it very much loves to be martyred and be seen as sort of a martyr, a saint. And so she very clearly wanted to make everyone aware that she had to do it. She had to discipline her child, even though it broke her heart. So she posted the video. It went a completely different way than she expected it to. She got a lot of backlash. People were accusing her of abusing her child and exploiting her child online for likes and views and that kind of a thing. And so she went on the defensive.
I could care less about the comments. I could care less about the likes. I could care less about the views.
Given that
It's actually really funny because she said she could care less. If you're saying that, it's actually I couldn't care less. If you could care less, then you would. But if you're really unbothered by it, then you couldn't care less.
I know that her number one priority is appearances and looking good and actually being admired. We know that this is not true. Then she went on to do a few manipulation tactics that are common in this profile of mothers.
I didn't do this to embarrass my daughter. If I wanted to embarrass my daughter, I would tell you guys what she actually did. An example, you guys are the weirdos for commenting and sharing and doing all this.
So the text on the screen, just in case y'all are listening only, she says she's using logical fallacy, arguing that she couldn't have been trying to embarrass her child because if she were, she would have done it in a different way. And then we move on to the gaslighting. It's the audience who is acting inappropriately by reacting to the video that she publicly posted.
Doing all this weird shit. I could care less about any of it.
It's not weird when people see emotional abuse on social media, which is, a very public platform. If people are calling that out, that's not being weird. That's reacting to what people are seeing. And if you are mistreating a child, a family member, a pet, that's not weird to react to it. I get called weird, creepy, obsessed all the time by these fans of family vloggers and influencers that I talk about. I'm not creepy, weird, obsessed, or any of the above. I'm just someone who is reacting to very, very, very public content that is usually harmful to one of the parties involved in said platform or channel. There's nothing weird about that. And that's why now I just, I ignore most of those comments unless I have an extra few minutes on my hands. We are living in accountability culture right now. We are witnessing accountability culture unfold and form itself and grow and flourish, and I'm here for it. I don't appreciate when people hurt others, post it online, and think that people are just supposed to be quiet about it. That's not what we're here for.
Escort, if you're a stripper, if you're a prostitute, if you're a stripper, an OnlyFans girl, or a TikTok and Instagram doing it for show, you could never give me advice on parenting because your parents already screwed up a long time ago.
Okay, so for her to say that if someone is on OnlyFans or doing, influencing for, quote, the wrong reasons, then they're not allowed to give her parenting advice, even though she is the one who exposed herself as emotionally manipulating her child, mistreating her child as a form of punishment, embarrassing her child on a very public stage, and then telling people that they're weird for having an opinion about that. This girl is never going to look at her mother the same way. Mark my words, she's still young right now, but speaking from experience, when you're still young, you still want the love and affection of your mother. So if your mom comes to you and says, "Oh, do I make you feel like XYZ?" You're going to say no. You're going to try to appease her with your responses. But once this child turns old enough to go to college or move out or whatever it is that she does with her life, she will absolutely build up her backbone and she will put this woman in her place. I guarantee it. I hope that it's not publicly because, all of these things should really happen behind the scenes. I'm glad that she posted it because it's a conversation that needs to be had. But their relationship will absolutely change for the worse. It's just not going to happen right now because obviously this child is still living with her mother. But that's not going to be long term and things will absolutely change.
So after she went on to defend herself, to further validate what she was saying, she brought her daughter into it, and that's going to be the next video. And this was the hardest part for me. So just watch with caution because for anyone who had similar moms, this is going to be hard to watch. So this one's going to be kind of a rough watch. Now what we're going to see is the mother using her daughter to convince everyone on TikTok that she wasn't abused. So if you believe this woman is her daughter, then what you have is the user asking the victim to verify that she wasn't. The idea here is that because her daughter's laughing with her and smiling and it's all just a funny big joke, that is proof that she isn't emotionally abusing her daughter. Sadly, I don't know if any of you have picked up on it, but this little clip right here reminded me an awful lot of another mother-daughter duo.
Endings are not just in fairy tales, they're real.
Even in videos I've seen since then, I'm like, yep, it's the same thing. It's like she's holding her hand. I mean, now it was maybe a control thing.
The hand holding and the tight hugs is a way of asserting mastery over another person and saying you're not free. You're under my control at all times.
Why is TikTok saying that you hate me? That you're traumatized? Yo, you guys don't know the bond me and this kid have, eh? You guys don't know.
Anyone who constantly has to announce the great bond that they have with their children is usually having a broken relationship with their child that they are trying to mend, and they know that it's falling apart, and things like this absolutely continue to deteriorate the relationship between the parent and the child. I feel so bad for her daughter. I feel like she was giving the responses to appease her parent, and I know how that feels. It is so disturbing you can almost like, if you have had a relationship even remotely close to this, like with your parent or a caregiver, you can feel the discomfort when you're watching that clip. It literally like hits me in like one of the deepest parts of my soul, because I know exactly what she's trying to do. And like I said earlier, this will not last. This girl will, once she is out of her mother's house, she will build up the courage and the strength to make her voice heard. And a lot of times what happens with these situations is sometimes the voice is heard and maybe things turn out okay, but sometimes it's just allowing your feelings to be said and then going no contact. I know so many people, not only from like social media, but also a couple people in my real life, going no contact with a parent who was abusive is very, very difficult. But unfortunately, it happens more often than some people might think.
So now we're going to see mom ask her daughter directly in a more serious tone if she believes she's being, which of course the daughter is going to say no.
Feel traumatized? No. Do you feel like I abused you? No. Do you feel like this form of discipline was a lot better than any other form of discipline, like physical abuse, that I could have used?
So she said that, was this form better than other forms that I could have used? That to me, and I have to say allegedly because I have no proof, that to me says that she has allegedly used harsh forms of physical abuse with her child in the past. And that's my opinion, allegedly, my conspiracy, just based off of her words. I really worry too about what's unfolding in this house now that this has gone viral on TikTok and this woman is receiving so much negativity because of what she did. Is she taking it out on her daughter? That really scares me.
Yes.
Now we're going to see the mother instill upon her daughter that being treated this way equals love.
You know I love you, right?
Yes.
You know I got your back, right?
Yes.
You know what I'm doing right now is to make you a better person, right?
Now, notice when she asks her daughter, what did you learn from this? After all she's been saying over and over is the whole point of this was to teach her daughter to think about her education and put her education first. But listen to the first answer her daughter gives.
What did you learn?
I learned not to disrespect you and to listen to you.
And also?
And to do my homework.
Her daughter's first response was reacting to the humiliation that she felt. It wasn't about learning the importance of education.
Being humiliated is not tough love. Tough love is not abusive. Tough love is not mortifying your child on a public stage. And it's damn sure not what this woman did. She is so just so far off base. I don't understand how she could seriously think that this was going to go over well.
Good, but that put this next part into perspective.
Do you deserve to have extensions in your hair?
No.
Do you deserve to have the latest styles in your hair?
No.
Do you deserve to have nails in your hair?
No.
So what could drive a mother to be like this with her daughter? Well, the next video is going to show you. I'm posting them all at once, so it's already posted. And if you started with this video, you should really watch it.
It's funny because this woman wants to talk down about influencers and people that are on the OnlyFans website. And I'll probably have to edit that because YouTube does not like that word at all. But this is a woman who is on social media just kind of doing what influencers do. Like, yeah, sure, she might share some conspiracy theories, which we'll get into in a minute, and talk about burning sage and all of this kind of stuff. And usually I would not care about that kind of stuff. Like, if that's what you want to do, go for it. But you're really coming down on how influencers are basically valueless, but you're just kind of like putting on makeup and fancy clothes and telling people how many designer items you have while filming yourself.
Despite modeling for her daughter the importance of outward appearance, beauty, your hair being done, looking good, her words say something else, which can be really confusing for a kid. So we see time and time again that this is all about her daughter prioritizing looks over brains.
Because my kid thinks it's more important to be pretty than educated.
Look at her mother. Look at what her mother is doing on social media. And I don't know the full backstory of, what this young girl was really up to. I don't really care. But what I am caring about right now is the fact that we are seeing a compilation of this mother being, quote, pretty and flaunting it for an audience to look at, but then cutting off her daughter's hair because her daughter, who most kids look after their parents, quote, thought being pretty was too important. Where did this mother go to college? What's her education? That's what I want to know. Did she go to Harvard? Is she a doctor? I don't think so. And look, I'm here to say, as far as like having to have a college degree, most of y'all know how I feel about that already. But for anyone that doesn't, I am not here to say, oh, you have to go to school, you have to go to college, you have to, do XYZ, work in a corporate job or become a lawyer or whatever. That's not what I'm ever here to promote, because I know plenty of very successful people that half of them didn't even make it out of high school. And they are successful and smart and intellectual and amazing, good people. But this woman wants to like rant and rave about education and use it as a way to excuse mistreating her daughter and posting it on TikTok.
My daughter's been acting out lately and thinking that being pretty is better than being educated. Having an attitude and acting like you're a boss bitch, that doesn't mean nothing if you have no brain to back it up. Today I had to do something that broke my heart and I had to cut off her hair because...
It's always how it made the mother feel. Oh, it broke my heart. Oh, it hurt my feelings. Oh, I had to do this. I had to do that. It's constantly being reverted back to me, I, my heart, my feelings. I'm sad.
Off her hair because being pretty is not better than being educated. Being pretty ain't shit.
This profile of a mother does see her daughter, like I said in a previous video, as an extension of who she is, as part of her, not an autonomous person, but she also does get competitive with her. So it is one thing for her daughter to be smart and accomplished because that is a reflection of her. But because the mother puts a lot of emphasis on how she looks, her daughter can't compete with that. And if she senses that she's competing with it, then her daughter becomes a threat. And that's where we see a lot of inconsistencies coming in her parenting. For instance, she says she's not a parent who uses physical discipline and then goes on to use physical discipline with her child.
I'm not a parent who likes to use physical discipline.
The irony in all of this is that the relationship and dynamic she's created with her own daughter appears to be the same dynamic she had and even still has with her own mother.
We try to be better than our parents and learn different ways and try to do better. Like, for instance, I'm not a parent who likes to use physical discipline.
So what I see here is a woman who was harshly disciplined by her mother and is very clearly hurt by it. She refuses to speak poorly about her mother, even though it does appear.
One thing that some people miss out on is the difference between instilling fear and instilling respect when it comes to parent-child relationships. And you can easily make a child fear you. Because, you instill fear, you use scare tactics, and you mold them to literally do anything that you tell them to do. Whereas if you're teaching them to respect you through lessons and through conversations and through teaching moments, that is a completely different relationship. And I had a relationship with, I still have, but obviously I'm an adult now. I had, growing up, a relationship with my dad where I respected him. And I still do respect him. I just respect him in a little bit of a different way because now I'm an adult. but even as a child, he instilled values in me, and we talked about things, and he taught me about things. And I respected him, and like I said, I still do, but there's a big difference between a child being scared and actually respecting you as their parent. Not as their twin, not as their friend, not as the person that buys them stuff. They respect you as their parent.
That the way her mother raised her had such a profound impact on her that she vowed to not raise her daughter the same way.
Because I told myself that even though I had a very good upbringing, my mom was a very good mom, I still wanted to do 10 times better.
I see in a lot of profiles where a child, even if they're an adult child, confuses fear with respect. And that's likely because she doesn't want to displease her mom, whether her mom is still alive or has passed, and she doesn't want to displease the image that she's built up in her head of her mom in her childhood.
My mom did physical discipline. I chose not to do physical discipline because for me as a kid, like, yeah, I was bad. And
she's claiming that she doesn't do physical discipline. Like, we've heard her say that many times. But what she did to her daughter and then posted on social media was a form of physical discipline, period.
I may have deserved certain things, but
her daughter is a second chance for her to be a good little girl by doing and making her daughter do what she feels she should have been. Do you notice that she says that she probably deserved the punishments that she got as a little girl? At the end of the day, this profile is someone who is still desperate for their mothers.
I'm not going to have a whole lot to add into this fifth and final part because she's speaking to the kind of profile side of things. So we're going to get into this, but don't be surprised if I don't have a whole lot to say. I will wrap up my thoughts when we're done here.
And for the final video is the profile. In terms of what I would market to Bella the mother, she probably falls prey to predatory marketers. The reason being is that the other thing that was very prevalent on Bella's page is that she believes in a lot of conspiracy theories. As I've mentioned before, people who believe in conspiracy theories on a regular basis tend to display a lack of critical thought, as well as they have a severe amount of anxiety, and they probably grew up feeling that they weren't safe. This is where some people get really upset. What I mean is people who on a regular serial basis believe and perpetuate conspiracy theories. Every now and then we all have fun with a conspiracy theory. That's a little bit different, but there are people who it really truly becomes their whole life. Honestly, what I would probably market to Bella is books about anxiety and managing anxiety and tackling anxiety, because I have a feeling anxiety rules her life more than she even probably realizes. But my main thing in doing this is not about marketing to Bella. It's about marketing to her daughter, who I also think is named Bella. If I were a marketer who wanted to get across to the daughter, Bella, I would probably try and do it organically and say a lot of keywords that would land me on her For You page, such as Bella, Roblox, Snapchat, daughter who got her hair cut off, mother.
I think that's pretty crazy that her daughter has the same name as her. That also speaks to the she's my twin thing that I talked about earlier. But here's the thing. I hope nothing but the best for both of these, you know, the mother and the daughter. I really hope that the mother uses this as an opportunity to learn and to change her behavior. I don't know if she will, but I can always be a little optimistic when it comes to a child that will be receiving the benefit from the parent changing their behavior. I hope that they both get into therapy. I hope that they both start to maybe take time off social media, especially the mother. Like, value the time that you have with your child. Use the time that you have with her in between now and when she turns 18 to teach her and love her and not manipulate her, and not throw the rest of your relationship in the garbage. Because I can tell you right now, there were quite a few things that she said throughout this entire video that tells me that she allegedly used punishments like this in the past, and this was the one that she decided to post on social media because it was her big hurrah. This was the big moment, cutting my daughter's hair. She done pissed me off so bad, and it's gonna hurt my feelings. So this is the one that's gonna go on social media because it's gonna go viral. I just don't think that she ever expected it to go viral, not in her favor. But people are not here for, this kind of display of punishment. Embarrassing your kids is not punishment. And I really feel for the daughter, and I think a lot of us do, because there are many people who have left comments saying, oh my God, this reminds me of my mom. Oh my God, this reminds me of my aunt. Oh, my caregiver. Oh, this, when stories like this go viral and people can associate with them, it's over. It's a wrap for this woman. She will never be able to come back to social media and have a successful time, a successful career, whatever she was trying to do, doing her hairstyling and doing cute selfies on TikTok and Instagram. It will never be completely in her favor again, because now she's known as the woman who cut off her child's hair as a way to, quote, punish her, but what it actually did was completely embarrass her, all so that she could shut off the comments, then take the video down, then double and triple down and gaslight the shit out of everybody. I know that this was a heavier topic. I hope that this video gets into the YouTube algorithm, because I talk all the time about parent relationships with like putting your life on social media, and I talk about influencers and toxic marketing and misleading stuff. I talk about a lot, but this is one of those times where this is one of those moments that doesn't come around very often, but it's so important for people to see this and for people to, be able to identify parents that might act like this with their kids and what that might mean. I know that toxic mother-daughter relationships are very norm, unfortunately. And I see quite a few online, and I just sit back and think, wow, you're doing all of this just for clicks, views, attention, money, or all of the above with some of them. So I wanted to make sure that I talked about this with you guys. If you were able to make it the whole video, thank you. I appreciate you. I can't wait to see the comment section. Be kind. We are here to have a conversation about something that is very triggering and very heavy for a lot of people. So let's try to, make it a good conversation. I know that this is going to definitely upset some people, but most of y'all usually play by the rules anyway. I'm done with talking. So for now, if you like the video, please leave a like and a comment. And if you'd like to see more from me in the future, please subscribe. I'll see you guys soon. Bye.